In the heart of the Congo, where the jungle hums with 1,000 secrets, lived a man named Mvu. He was a skilled trapper, his snares known throughout the villages for their cunning design. Gold and black, caught fast in a snare meant for much smaller game. Mav's first thought was of the valuable pelt. But as he looked into the cub's frightened eyes, something softened within him. Men. Instead of ending the young leopard's life, he carefully released it, carried it back to his hut, and tended to its injured leg. He named the cub MP, and an unlikely friendship began to blossom. MP grew strong and sleek under MBU's care, and a deep bond formed between man and beast. His presence kept other predators at bay, and MVU's prosperity grew. MP the leopard was gentle as a house cat with the little ones, often letting them tug his tail or sleep curled against his warm body. Their home was an oasis of peace, a strange but happy family of man, woman, children, and a leopard. But peace, like a jungle mist, can vanish with the morning sun. A shadow of jealousy began to creep into the village. Mvu's cousin, a man named Boloko, watched Mvu's success with a bitter heart. He saw the fine cloth Mvu's family wore, the abundance of food they always had, and the respect Mvu commanded. Boloko was lazy and envious, and he convinced himself that Mvu's good fortune was somehow unfair. A magic tied to the leopard. One day, while Mvu was away on a long trading journey, Boloko saw his chance. He gathered a few other resentful men from the village. "This is not right," he argued, his voice dripping with false concern. "We are only safe because of MVU, but he is gone." Makina and the children were inside, sleeping peacefully. MP, ever watchful, lay guarding the entrance. They surrounded the great cat. MP fought valiantly, a whirlwind of claws and fury, defending the family he loved. Boloko, driven by his vile jealousy, delivered the final fatal blow. They dragged MP's body deep into the jungle and left it there, thinking their dark deed would remain a secret. He called out for MP, expecting the familiar sight of his friend bounding to greet him. But there was only silence. Through her tears, she told him the horrific story of the attack, of Boloko's treachery, and of MP's brave last stand. A cold, hard rage settled in Mvu's heart, a feeling he had never known before. The grief was a physical weight, crushing his chest. His friend, who had saved his life and protected his family, had been murdered by his own kin. He walked to the edge of the jungle and let out a great cry of sorrow and fury, a cry that promised vengeance. But now, he would use his skills for a different purpose. He went to the spot where MP had fallen and found the faint trail left by the killers. What he found there sent a chill down his spine. MP's mate, a beautiful leopardess he had only seen from a distance, was there, grieving over the body. And beside her, nestled in the undergrowth, were 3 tiny, newborn cubs, miniatures of their magnificent father. MVU's heart ached for the leopardess and her fatherless children. He said nothing of his plans. To everyone, he appeared to be a man broken by grief. But in secret, he began to work. He used all his knowledge of the forest to help the leopards. He ensured they had water. He became a silent guardian, a provider for the family his own friend had left behind. The leopardess, intelligent and perceptive, soon understood. She recognized MVU's scent, the same scent that had always lingered on her mate. She saw that this man was not a threat, but an ally. A silent pact was formed between them, an alliance forged in shared loss and a desire for justice. The cubs grew quickly, strong and fast, nurtured by their mother's care and MVO's provision. They inherited their father's power and their mother's cunning. Boloko, meanwhile, grew arrogant. With MVU seemingly broken and the leopard gone, he felt powerful. He boasted in the village about his bravery, painting himself as the hero who had saved them all from the beast. He and his accomplices grew fat and lazy, their vigilance dulled by their supposed victory. They had no idea that in the shadows of the jungle, a reckoning was being raised. Finally, the day came. The cubs were now young adults, a formidable trio of hunters. MVU knew they were ready. That night, he led them, along with their mother, to the edge of the village. He pointed his finger, not at the whole village, but at specific huts, the homes of Boloko and the men who had helped him murder MP. The four leopards slipped into the village like ghosts. The first screams came from the home of one of Boloko's men. Then another. The attacks were swift, precise, and terrifying. The leopards were not killing indiscriminately. They were hunting specific prey. Panic erupted. Villagers barricaded their doors, listening to the sounds of terror outside. Finally, the leopards reached Boloko's hut. He heard the scratching at his door, the low growls that promised death. He screamed for help, but no one dared to come out. The door splintered and gave way. Boloko found himself face to face with not one, but 4 pairs of glowing yellow eyes, burning with an inherited rage. In that final moment, he saw the face of MP and his children, and he understood the nature of the vengeance that had come for him. By morning, silence had returned. The village was unharmed, except for the homes of Boloko and his accomplices. Those men were gone. MVU stood at the edge of the forest as the sun rose. The leopardess and her 3 children emerged from the trees. They looked at him, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Their debt was paid. Justice had been served. The 4 leopards turned and melted back into the jungle, their home, to live the lives they were always meant to. MVU returned to his family. The story of his revenge became a legend in the Congo, a tale told around fires for generations, a warning that some bonds are deeper than blood, and that the justice of the jungle, when roused, is patient, precise, and absolute. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from around the world.